Hello and welcome to One Block Podcast, Beyond the Barrack Stories, where we get to spotlight on amazing individuals who were once former police children but are today doing amazing things here in our country, Nigeria, and also in the diaspora. Today we hear the story of Chief Hamilton Emeka Ezionu Idemili, North and South of Anambra State. We are pleased to have you on our seat today, sir.
Yes, thank you very much, and it's an honor to be sitting with my own.
All right, before we actually get to all the serious stuff and everything, let's get to know how was life for you being a child in the barracks?
Um, Being a child in the barracks, it was a wonderful experience, and that most people don't have. People think that growing up in the barrack it's a sad experience. It's low experience in Nigeria. That's what they believe, that these people are poor. But it's an experience that I think people should want to have because it made me who I am today. I remember when in those days we used to go downstairs to fetch water and carry the water upstairs because we were living in a block 15, room 22. It was on the third floor. So that experience of we had to do what we had to do for our parents to survive, and the fact that seven of us were living in a one bedroom. And sometimes I wonder, how did we sleep? How did we manage? I can't picture it. I say, was it miracle?
And here we are today.
It's a good feeling to know that we're able to pass through that, and it feels good.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Let's now get to start with you telling us who you are today and who you were as a child in the barracks.
Okay. Who I am. Let me start with who I was as a child
in the barracks.
In the barracks. In the barracks, I remember I went to Ararami Baptist School.
Okay.
In right after Obalandi, I think right before Makati. And I remember we used to walk to school. And I remember as a child in the barracks, during Independence, they used to come then to the barrack to throw balls. Independent Day in Nigeria then used to be like where every barrack child would go to the field and to pick up balls. There used to be barrack competition, sports,
Wow.
football. Then they were coming there to pick talents, And I remember there in the barrack, we used to do backflip. We used to try to see who would do the most backflip. So I remember then that, the highest that I went there was 12. And after you're done, your eye will spin for a while, So, all those experiences, just created that bond between us. Your friends you grew up with, they're like your brothers. The females that were growing up with then were like your sisters. Everybody just cared for each other. You understand? We didn't know whose father was a commissioner or whose father was a corporal. We just knew that we were family. And everybody celebrated everybody's success. So as a child, I grew up with knowing that. In fact, it even went further that when somebody dashes you money as a child, you want to come among your friends and be like, this is my Uncle Kemo. He gave me 2 naira. Everybody be like, hey, man, we are going to have what's that thing in a sachet they sell in traffic?
Is it Gala?
Gala.
Okay.
I remember Gala then, So he even had to force me then as a child because then I didn't have much uncle that was coming to give me money. I started selling pure water. I started selling ice water. Then I would go to Obalandi under bridge. I remember then, me and my friend Paul and some other guy, I can't remember his name, we will carry ice water on our head in Obalandi. We'll be saying, ice water tuture, o tutu, o So at the end of the day, we want to see who will sell the entire ice water. So as you leave after school, remember this is after school, you come back, you eat lunch, you now want to go and make that extra money. And at the end of the day, that's the money that I started to use to show that I was also making money. I also have money.
Money of your own.
You know, of my own. So I think that was the beginning of me being an entrepreneur. That I knew that we had to survive. And surviving is doing the right thing because
Making legit money.
legit money. You know, our parents were people that were fighting to keep the country safe. They were law-abiding citizens. So we had to live a decent life because we are an example to them. So we were trained to do the right thing, you know. So growing up into that, you know, I got into my secondary school, Hope Waddell in Calabar, you know, and my father wanted to make sure we went to school because he knew that without education, you know, you won't go anywhere. So from me coming back from Calabar, I went to Nnamdi Azikiwe University, and my father wanted me to learn Igbo very well because he knew we all grew up in barracks in Lagos, so he also wanted to expose us to other
Your
other
roots,
places,
your
you know,
tradition.
my roots, my tradition. So after my college, I worked with Citizen Bank in Lagos as a copper, and you know, as a barrack child, again. At the bank, then there was this girl that came from the UK, and every minute she would come. Oh, in UK, this happens in UK, and I was like, how can I show this girl that UK is not a big deal? You know what? Let me go and try to get a visa to the US. And I just went to try, and I got it. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this visa now? Because I didn't really want
You
to
had
go.
no idea. You just wanted to
I just wanted to be
let
like,
me just
I
try.
have,
I have
a
a year's-
link to go to the US. And I went to the US, and that's how I started my life. And that's how I'll go more in detail about the US and all that. But that's how I came back to Nigeria, and I decided to go back to my roots. I'm an Igbo man from Anambra State in Nobi. I got back and I told myself, how am I going to help my people? How am I going to make Anambra State great again? You know, and I started the journey 3-4 years ago. And December 26th, I was made the Ikemba Idembele North and South of Anambra State because of all the work that I've been doing for the last 4 years. So that's my story in a short.
Was it? I'm trying to get the exact date. Was it
Yeah.
December of 2025?
Yes,
So-
of 2025
Oh,
that
you made
I was
Ikemba,
made
Idemili North and
Idemili.
South.
Yeah, I was
Big
Ikemba
congratulations, sir.
I was Ikemba Nobi before.
Okay.
Yeah, but because of I had, you know, I did a No Child Left Behind in Anambra State, making sure every child had a school bag because most kids were going to school with pure water bag. You know, it was horrible. So I saw it. I felt like I did not want to live in this world and not knowing that I didn't help the young ones that are coming up. Because as a barrack child, we didn't want you to dash us money. We just wanted hope. We just wanted to know that somebody would give us a direction of how we can succeed. So I knew very early that having a child with hope and dream and belief, it's more important than anything else. Because what pushed me to where I am today is that hope and belief that I can live a better life, I can be great, I can be the best, you know, with hard work. So I believe that, you know, that's what got me to where I am today.
And see how far it has brought you. Okay, moving on, Ikemba. What was like a normal day for you in the barracks? Your routine, moments from the early days that still stand out and is very vivid for you.
Okay, what I could remember in the barrack that stood out for me was the structure I got from the barracks. The fact that I wake up in the morning, you have to take a shower in the like the open place
Wow.
upstairs, and you have to take a shower very fast because you have to wake up early because you have to go and fetch water, and you have to take it upstairs. And if you don't go in early, there's a lot of people there that are
You
taking
have to
shower.
wait.
So you have to wait. So the fact that I'll wake up early, hurry up, get my water, go there, take a shower. Now you have to check the distance from your house to your school to make sure you're not late. Because when you're late, they will bring you out in the assembly and spank you. And when you're done with that, you have to rush back home because you have plates to wash. Because my duty was to wash dishes. So I have to say plate so that people will understand.
Were you the last child? Because that's like the role we normally give to like the last born and everything.
I wasn't the last child, but I was a child that there was this thing about my mom was very close to me. And my dad did not want my mom to spoil me. So my dad was making sure that I had the difficult part of what they were doing in the house. So because of that, my dad made sure I had like I was doing what I was supposed to do at the time I was supposed to do it, that I wasn't going to be spoiled. So when I get back, I remember I'll carry this big basin, or what they call it, bath. I don't know, basin, whatever.
It's bath
But
basin.
you carry it on your head, and there's something that used to be fun then. You want to carry it and not hold it. You just want to move it. You know, those things were just skills that you just wonder if you can do it now. You know, then you bring it downstairs, you wash your plate, and when you're done, you finally take it back up, you arrange it in. You know, I used to wonder, the kitchen was so tiny. How do we used to keep our plates? I can't even, now I try to picture it, I can't. You know, then when you're done with it, you're also trying to hurry up to go and play
Football
in the field. And you have I remember then, between 4:30 to 6 to play ball. But because they used to play sets, and if you don't come early, you're not in the set that's playing. And if they now play their own football, they now enter penalty, that will now go long, then you might not play with the next set. So when your set now going late, and your mom is supposed to be coming back, and you're still playing ball, the moment you hear your mother's car, whether you're playing or not, or whatever, you're running back home
to evade trouble.
And you know, once you get home, before you get home, you will rush and go and wash your leg.
So nobody knows. I know
nobody
that part.
knows that your leg is all dirty. You know, so all those things, you know, is what built that structure of, you know, the times that you have to do what you have to do.
True.
You know, that's I believe that's the foundation of, and that's why I'm making sure now my kids from childhood, they have structure. That has really helped me to know that no matter how rich you are, if your children does not have the structure that they need to grow up, the wealth you have is useless. That's why you see a lot of rich people's kids are useless, because they don't have structure. They didn't grow up with structure. So when they are now independent, they don't even know how to live. And along the line, they start taking drugs because they want to feel like they are doing something, and they don't know how to go about it. So I believe that the structure from the barracks really, really helped me to get to where I am today.
Thank you for sharing that. Moving on, as a police child, what did home really mean to you? Family, community, or discipline? What can you really vividly say, this is what home meant for me as a child back then?
Home was more like, you know, even with all of the, you know, the discipline that we will go through from our mothers especially, because our fathers were gone most of the time. But still, home was still where you know that you are protected, where you know that it's like your beginning. So you have to, no matter where you go, you must always come back home.
Amazing, amazing. So growing up, what were you most aware of that you didn't have compared to other children outside the barracks? What was it like? Something you can say, I'm aware growing up in the barracks, I don't have this compared to other children.
growing up in the barracks, what I would say I did not have. No, I can't say this. I think I was one of the lucky children in the barracks because I remember then my dad had a 504. My father had a car. We had TV we had color TV that other kids used to come to my house to watch color TV. My dad was Samson Sahara is on. He was a police coach. So sometimes they used to bring him with helicopter into the field. So most kids would come out. I would go there and be like, So I used to feel cool,
Feel
like
on top of the water. This is my father.
this is my father. So I would say that I was lucky that I didn't feel like there was something other children had.
You didn't feel there was anything missing at all?
There was nothing. I think I'm a kind of child that I look at the positive from time. I don't see negative. That's how I've been from time. So I can't say there's something other children have that I didn't have because I did everything. I did the good, the bad. No, the only thing I didn't do, I didn't do the bad because I would say the bad. I would say then was most of my friends wanted to smoke.
Okay.
They wanted to be the bad guy. Yes, I would say I did not do that because I wanted to prove to my dad that I was going to be a good child. Mm-hmm. So when all our friends then were going to be like, oh, I've started smoking, I'll be like, if I smoke now, what my dad said is going to be true. I'm going to be a sports child. I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
So I would say that was what I did not do.
All right. Were there moments you actually felt trapped by your circumstance or feared you might never leave that circumstance, in quotes, the barracks kind of life?
Yes. I think the only time I felt horrible and trapped was when my father died in the force. My father did not retire. He died when I was trying to get into college. And he died in Anambra State. Before we could get back to Lagos, I think it was 2 weeks, they were already planning to throw our load out.
Very typical.
So it was horrible. It was a horrible experience where you don't have a father. And you remember when your dad is in the force, people be coming to your house, like bringing stuff. Everybody wants to be your friend. And when your dad dies, it's like you don't see anybody. So that emptiness that happened immediately, and going back home, they're telling me that they want to throw my load out. I just felt stuck. Like I felt there was nowhere to go. I just felt like, is it how the world is going to end? Like, it was very horrible. It was a horrible feeling that, I would cry in my quiet times because I did not know what to do. I didn't know who to go and meet. I didn't know how to go about it. I was still a kid. But that gave birth with me going to do conductor.
Wow.
I started doing conductor with the boss. And as a police child too, when we'll be washing our dad's car, we'll also be learning how to drive. Then when you wash it, you want to wash the car
so you can test it.
so that you can test it. So from there, that's how I learned. So when my dad died, I didn't have what to do. I started doing conductor. I remember then I was making 200 naira, and from conductor, my driver became sick, and I drove his bus. Then when my dad got his money, his gratuity, because we told them we couldn't move because we didn't have money. Then I remember they paid him 160,000, and the police took 36,000, I think. Then from the money, horrible. Then my mother now used the money to go and buy bus since I found interest in bus.
Yeah.
So that's how I started driving bus. And that time I wouldn't want any girl that used to like me to see me that I'm a bus driver. I'll be hiding in the bus. That's what gave birth to my face cap. I used to wear face cap a lot. So that was the only time that I felt trapped and, horrible experience.
Nice. What were responsibilities or challenges you faced early in life as a child that most kids won't even imagine today? You've just told us now your father died. What, like something you know
as a child,
most kids cannot really relate
deal
to this
with.
world?
Okay. Um, I remember as a child, one of the things that helped us too then was religion, going to church. Um, you know, a lot of us then used to be mass servers. So we used to have this priest that used to come from Europe and all that. And you see, police children just knew how to go and, look
Sorry.
for, search, look for other people that they can relate with. They were not scared of entering anywhere. So for some reason the priest used to like us, and some of us used to serve mass, not me, my other friend. So along the line, I just, had this thing that no matter the situation you find yourself, you just have to think deep and believe, and the solution will come. I remember then that a reverend father was telling us a story about how, I don't know if the story was true then, but he said how three people got to a wall and they were going somewhere and they were supposed to jump through the wall. And the first one said, "Oh, there's no way out. This wall is very tall." And he left. And the second one was like, let me try. And along the line, he said, man, this would never be possible. And the third one said, "I am going to go through this wall. I must go through this wall. I don't know how I'm going to go through this wall, but I must go through this wall." And he now kept using his finger to create holes from the wall. Now found a stone that he was using to create a hole inside the wall. Now along the line, put his hand on the hole, use it to push, create a force that he used to grab the top to now go through the wall. So what he was saying to us is his belief was what created the solution to how he was able to scale that wall. So when he said that word to me, it sank into me that in every situation I found myself, I have to believe that I can scale this situation. And the moment I start believing it, the solution will start coming. So I believe that is what that period gave me, as a child. It created that belief from, the Reverend Father that we used to speak to. Oh, and I didn't even add this one to you. As a child, Jehovah Witness used to come and preach along, how
Those booklets.
they come to the barracks and give us the booklets and all that. So along the line, they will now talk to you to also join them to preach. And one day, one of them now said, "Oh, that I should come with her," So I just wanted to feel like a G, like I'm a G now, So I now went with her and I started to preach. And from there, I now became a born again that period. So I started to preach. So that also built my self-confidence in talking to people. That was how I was able to know that I can look into your eyes and tell you.
Actually
Talk.
boldly.
Yeah. That was what built that. That's still the same barrack experience.
True.
So
despite all of those challenges, something inside of you still pushed. So let's talk about the drive and how it was able to shape you today. Was there, what was the moment you truly believe I can and I'm above this situation? What is that moment that you felt like, I can push through this and I'm above whatever it is I'm facing now?
The moment that told me I can push through this,
Yeah.
and I think, like I said, the moment, everything is a process, and once you start the process, it just grows into something
True.
else. So as I was doing, as I started doing the bus conductor, I got admission into school, into university, and from my conductor, I would do my conductor, I will go to the park because I don't want to spend money to go to go back to school. I will go to the park, I will pay for the seat. I will wait when the bus is full. I will sell my seat. I will get money from the person. I will pay for the small chair. They call it obeloche. When the bus is full, very full, somebody will buy my small chair. I will put my hand on the whatever, and I will stay up from Lagos to the east. That's how I started going to school. So that money I made, I would use it to pay school fees because my father was gone. And for me to be able to pay my school fees, I had to be very disciplined. So I think in the process of me being in school, I now met some of my friends in school that their parents were well-to-do. You know, successful people know how to find people that are successful, people that their parents were rich. My father then was gone, but they just knew that I wanted good, I like good, I have a good way of seeing life. So they just became my friends. So along the line, how God now started to help me was one of my friends then, the mother used to come and give him money in school, but she found out that I was the one that was cooking for us. So instead of him, if she gives her son maybe 5,000 naira in a week, the 5,000 is finished. But she found out that if she gives me the 5,000 and gives her son maybe 3,000, by the time she comes back, the food is still there. We're still eating. So what she does is she comes and gives me money. Why she started doing that? But there was time she came, my boss broke down. So I was in Lagos for almost 3 months. So she kept asking, "Where is that your friend?" She was asking her son. The friend said that I did not have money to come to school. She said, "Why?" She said, "Oh, that my father is late." She said, "You know what? From that time, she started giving me money that I should focus on my school." So I probably say that's when I started seeing hope, where I didn't have to work too hard to pay my school fees. I had somebody that was assisting me in the school. That's, and I'm always happy no matter the situation. I always found a way to be excited. I'm always excited about life, And it's that barrack lifestyle again that created it. That no matter what, no matter the situation,
you're not giving up.
We were always happy. So
more success stories now.
Yeah.
Who believed in you early when success was still invisible? And how did that support and influence your journey today?
I think my mother believed in me, but I also think that I had this look of unseriousness. Like, this guy is not serious. It's not, because I'm always joking. I can't have conversation with you in 5 minutes without smiling or trying to make you laugh. It's just me. I can't. So most of us saw it as, this guy is unserious. This guy is never be serious. It's always joking, So I always had to prove a point that the fact that I'm like this, I'm a serious person. I mean business. I know what I want in life. So I spend most of my life trying to prove a point. I won't say I didn't have any uncle that believed in me that I would say, came and say, this guy, I believe you're going to make it. Or I didn't have anybody in college that believed that, this guy. I think maybe I had one or two people be like, the way you're moving, you look like somebody that will make it. But I think I had a lot of doubters, that I told myself I must make it.
Just to prove a point.
I have to prove a point.
I can make it.
Yes, that I can make it. So sometimes, these days when people go online on social media, be like, people believe on my downfall. People don't, my life is my life. No, use it on yourself. Use it as positive. Use it to build yourself. Use it to work hard. Don't bother going to try to tell people, I will show you. No, it's between you. You know what you want to do. Because you're going to face that downtime. And if you come out in the open, be like, I'll show you how I'll make it, then when you're facing that downtime, you'll be ashamed because it's
you already put it out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I believe that those people that did not believe that I was going to make it, and people most of the time that did not believe in me, was what really made me work extra hard to make it in life. So
amazing. Your career spans across roles in the US, consulting, Entrepreneurship. Looking back, what habits from the barracks, your childhood, that actually guided you into the businessman that you are today?
Um, like I told you from the barracks, the ice water tuture, where we sell
The conductor part,
the ice
driving
water
the
from there,
bus.
the conductor part, and and you know those things helped shape me to know that that financial discipline too is very important.
Very key.
If you trade and you make your profit, you have to realize this is a profit. You have to make sure that you don't tamper with your profit, because that profit is what you put in to build the next stage. So people don't understand the 1 naira is one makes two. If you remove one, you can never get 2. People believe that I must have 100 million, 10 million, 5 million to start up. You have to start small. So I think that barrack gave me that mentality of starting, building from the scratch to get to where I am today.
As a police son, what motivated you to build a support facility for a police station? Was it security, honoring your roots, or something more personal?
When I got into Anambra, and I realized that the police station was attacked twice by some young men, and most people told me to leave, that the police station has been taken over. There's no police. There's nothing happening there. But when I visited the police station, I found out that they had no fence. They had nothing there. So they were open to attack. So I'm like, how do you guys expect something not to happen when you don't have fence, you don't have anything, and there's a big forest behind the station? So I spoke to the local government chairman, Amaka Obi, and she was able to help. The local government built the fence. And I decided that, because in America, a lot of police station has a police tower. So from the tower, you can see everywhere around you.
Surveillance, sort of.
Yes, survey the whole entire area. So I told them that I was going to help them build one, and I did. And they were attacked again after the police tower was built, and the police responded from there. And after then, I think they recovered some guns then. And after then, they have never faced anything like that again. And gradually, I helped with the vigilante group. I bought them a bus. The DPO helped. They trained young men, and they gave them the necessary equipment they needed. The state government got involved. And today, as I speak to you, Nobi as a town and Idemili as a whole is one of the safest places you can go to now as we speak. And I believe that it gives me joy to know that my town is safe, because I know that development, the economy of any town starts to grow when the security of the town is safe. People have to have that mentality of they feel safe. That's what will bring investments,
Of course.
to come in. So I believe that my father being a policeman and me knowing that if the police have the right tools they need, they are ready to work.
Sure.
So all I could do is to start from my community. And I believe that my DPO now, whatever he is, if he's listening to this, I know he's very happy,
Of course.
right now. And the police commissioner, and he's supposed to come and commission the police station in time, because we're still doing some work there. We're still not done. But when we're done, the commissioner, IG probably, will come and commission the place. And hopefully I will invite you to come and see what one of you have done.
We'll be honored to come.
Thank you.
So moving on, when you made that singular decision to actually go back and put up the structure for the police and make the community feel more safe, because that was you actually putting safety in ground there. Were you seeing a younger you or your father reflecting in that?
I was seeing more of my father, because my father, people used to tell me now that My father will hear something bad is happening in Kano, and the person has no hope. He will leave Lagos to Kano to see how he can help that person, especially when it's a police issue. You know, my father, police station then in Mushin, before he came in, he said it was horrible. He came and fixed it, and it became one of the best place. My father came into Anambra State, Enugu police station. He was the one that built it, made it the place one of the best. And I heard the place now is an area command in Anambra State. So I believed he was somebody that when he comes and sees something not right,
He wants to fix it.
he wants to see how.
And was he doing that from his personal funds?
He was doing that from his personal and friends. He would call people to support him and all that.
I guess you took quite a lot from your father.
Yes,
giving back.
I think that was from him, and I used to drive him then, because he said I could see at night much
More
better
than
than
him.
than everybody else. So he used to like when I drive him. In the process of me driving him, you know, I used to see all his doings. That's what they call it now, doings.
All right. Moving on again. If you could send one message to a police child today through all of the activities and the work, the good work you're putting out there, what would it be? Let's say you want to package your entire message to a child out there, police child, what would it be?
What I can say to a police child is, don't give up. Be proud of what your father is doing. He's serving his country, and believe that the fact that your father is a policeman doesn't mean that you cannot be the president of the country. The fact that your father is a policeman does not mean that you cannot be the greatest man on earth. Believe that your father serving, the mind of serving, there's a blessing that comes with it.
True.
So the fact that your father is serving, is giving his life to protect the world. I mean, not the world in general, but starting from where he is, there's a blessing that comes with it. So as a child, believe, hope, and work hard, and do right, and the sky is your limit.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So One Block Podcast exists to tell stories like yours and inspire the next generation. So what about this mission of ours actually resonates with you?
The fact that we are trying to change the narrative of
The stereotype
about
police children.
police children are useless children. I remember then that I would meet a girl, and I'll tell, who's your father? My father is a policeman. My mother doesn't want anybody that their father is a policeman, no, because they believe that the children are not raised right. They are useless children. They will never be useful because their father collect bribe. Most people don't know that there are a lot of good policemen. They just have this, narrative. So One Block has come to change that narrative, and One Block, I believe, is going to bring out a lot of successful police children that are out there doing great things in our society. And I believe that this has been long overdue. We should have had this like 10 years ago. I think by now would have been so big that the country need to know we exist. Because I also want us to be decision makers in this country, where if a president wants to run, he will come and see us, because we are the ones that make sure that the law enforcement of this country are well taken care of. Because if you take care of them, they will raise kids that would make a better society for all of us. So I believe One Block, what the whole idea initiative is one of the best decisions that's happened in my time, and that's why I'm happy to be here with all of you. And in time, we will see where we're going to take this to. I think we're moving in the right direction.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Looking back at your barracks childhood, the childhood you had back then as a barrack child, if you could change one thing for the barrack child today, what would it be?
If I could change one thing for the barrack child,
To help a barracks child today.
if I could change one thing for a child now,
Yes, a barracks child.
today, I think that is to help them have a livable environment, because a lot of barracks I pass through now, they are so horrible. That is, sometimes I ask myself, can they, maybe if they can allow me, renovate like one section of the barracks, maybe I could start from there. But at the second thought, they will not allow you. Yeah, they say there's a process you have to go through, and it's so tedious. You have to pay and pay for to do that, and you can't just do
You
one.
have to pay to do it.
Yes, you can't do one. It has to be all. So it's just so sad that you see, how horrible the barrack is, and you don't know how to help. And the funniest thing is, I heard they're even breaking a lot of them too. I heard that they are selling some of the land too. So what I can do for a barrack child is to see how I can educate them, maybe help them to go to school, help them with the school fees, help them with. I'll focus on education for them, because only education is the only thing you can equip the child, that the child can, the child will not have any barrier. Education brings that child out. So I think I would help the child with education, because their living environment is the government. That's why I said, if I become a governor,
That's one of the things you.
that's one of the things I would like to do. In fact, one of the things I think about, a lot of my friends are telling me, oh, you have to go and serve, you have to run. The pressure now is coming from different angles. But I keep saying to them that I don't think I want to do it, because Nigeria is a very complicated place, where when you want to do good, the bad people are so much that you have to fight. Even before I did all the good I did, I knew the battle I had to go through. It was hell. But because of that police toughness that I have, and they were all surprised that I came from the US, and how am I this tough? They couldn't put the American guy looking soft, but he's so strong and tough. So I think that barrack child experience was what made me tough. So for any barrack child I see today, I will just find out how I can help him. You find out every child needs a particular help. And I'm also a believer that not every child must go to school.
Sure.
There are skills people can learn now. We're living the handwork. In those days, people learn how to be carpenter, people learn how to be bricklayer. Plumbers now are scarce in the world. In America now, to be a plumber, it's a big deal. In Nigeria now, to find a good plumber is so difficult. People don't even know. I am looking to hire one, and all of them are meetings telling me, sir, I can't work with you like permanent. I say, I'll pay you. Oh, sir, I have so much job. I can't be in one place. So those are skills that somebody can get into and build it, make it big. So I am a believer of, if a child wants to learn a skill, I'm there to see how I can help the child.